Welcome to ESI Africa. Today we are joined by Compton Saunders, who is the Managing Director of Nordex Energy South Africa. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So you've been in the renewable energy sector for quite some time, and you have extensive first-hand experience with South Africa's energy transition. The last one being the draft of the South African Renewable Energy Master Plan, which has several key objectives that Nordex is attuned to. So let's talk a little bit more about the localization aspect that you're involved in, since I'm sure we could sit here the whole day and talk about all the 13 components of the SARIM Master Plan. So as an OEM, what does localization mean to you, and what does it entail?
Thanks. Yeah, good question. I think from a localization perspective, I think it's really important maybe just to highlight where we are before we consider what the future looks like. I think so from an industry perspective, and particularly in the wind industry, there's been significant strides already made in terms of the level of localization or local content that is represented in projects deployed in South Africa. So just reflecting on that a little bit, from a wind farm perspective, you typically have 35% of the total cost of the project coming from the balance of plant, so that's everything outside of the wind turbine, while the rest of the costs are all related to the actual wind turbine and the installation thereof. And if you look at those sort of numbers of the balance of plant, 90% of those components are already localized, and on the turbine side, there's already about 30% of that that's localized as well. So on aggregate, you've got around almost 50% of the value of a local wind farm already localized. So I think it's important to recognize that. So I think it's important to then understand what are the additional frontiers, and I think the SARIM also refers to these as frontiers. What's possible in the future? So the remaining main components for local manufacturing is really blades as well as nacelles. And of those two components, they really specialized, they're really driven by large manufacturing volumes, and in order for it to make economic sense in South Africa, there needs to be sufficient volumes to sustain local manufacturing investment to enable the market to localize. Thanks. I think just coming back to I think the market experience to date is we've been very successful at localization, localizing up to almost 50% of a wind farm containing local content. From a Nordex perspective, we've invested significantly in concrete tower technology, which is 100% local content. So the entire wind turbine tower is constructed, so manufactured and installed locally.